Hello, my friends. Happy Tuesday. And yes, it is sunny in San Diego, although it's cloudy and overcast at the same time. Go figure. Okay, today, this could be big and exciting today. We're talking about DIY. I love DIY. I've been DIYing since I was a kid. I'm always making something, creating something, copying something someone else had, making all sorts of things, jewelry, clothing, handbags. I'm lucky my father worked with leather, so I had access to that. And it goes on and it goes on. I'm not artistic, I believe, because I can't paint or draw, but I'm very creative and I've always been making things and having ideas and stuff all my life. It's natural to me. And I have designed my own planner pages. For decades, I've been designing planner pages. Ever since I had access to a computer, I used to create something. Even before then, I used to use a ruler and a pen and design them calendars and all sorts of pages. And more recently, journaling style pages, productivity style pages, pages that will help you do what you need to do. Remember your task list, your to-do list, your shopping list. I run on lists. And I like paper. I like the tactile feel of having paper in my hands. I love the feel and the smell and the almost stiffness of a new notebook and fresh, clean paper. I also love that crinkly feeling of paper that's been well used and notebooks that have become thick because while they're opened and the pages are written on and things are slotted in, they grow. I love that. Those pictures that you sometimes see of those travelers' notebooks, which are leather and they've got the pages and stuff and the gorgeous pens. And I love all that stuff. So I'm thinking about DIY. I'm thinking about doing it yourself. It should be DIM, shouldn't it? Doing it myself. And I was thinking of what are the things that we can do ourselves. The other day I was talking to a coach. We had a conversation. At the end of the conversation, he said, "You've just been coached," which is his little thing, I guess. Somebody I met on LinkedIn. So I used to have a coach, an absolutely awesome woman, incredible woman. And she talked about coaching yourself to success. What does it mean? What does a coach do? Well, in my view, and I know there will be people who will disagree. Some of them will be coaches. Some of them have worked with coaches. Some of them haven't done either, but know coaching in some way, and they might disagree. That's fine. We can all have our own viewpoints, right? My viewpoint is that a coach helps you be a better you, right? So quite often you get stuck with something, or I get stuck with something because I've got stories in my head which I'm telling myself which aren't helpful. Or I've got frightened because of something that happened in the past and I can't resolve in my head what's going on. Or I actually don't know how to do something. Or I'm looking at it from the wrong perspective. And I need to look at it from a different perspective. And in order to do that, I need to ask questions that I'm not asking. In other words, I'm not asking the right question. And a coach can help me realize what the right questions are, right? They can push me further than I would push myself. One of the worst possible questions that a coach could ask someone if they're not a very good student, would be, did you get that done? Did you do it? Have you finished? Is it done? Same with your homework when you were at school. When your teachers, came into the room and they said, right, hand your homework in, pass your homework to the front, or give your homework to the person in the desk next to you and we'll mark it together. And you get that absolutely gut-wrenching feeling in your stomach because yours isn't done, isn't finished, isn't ready. Now, when you don't do things, there's a reason for it. Some people refer to it as leadership. Your leadership isn't good. And I balked against the idea of leadership when I first heard about the concept. One of the great leadership coaches is, his name's completely escaped me. I've seen him in real life. I've been to events that he's held and I absolutely cannot remember. Anyway, he's written an enormous amount on leadership. And that when I first came across him, I thought, well, I don't need that. I'm not a leader. I don't have a team of people or a business. I'm not leading anybody. Duh. Wake up, Andrea. I'm leading me, right? So that's where leadership comes from. It's your skill at leading or guiding yourself. Some people call it ethics. You say you're going to do something. Do you do it or do you not do it, right? If you say, I am going to do blah, are you doing it or not? My business partner has a bracelet. I've got one as well, actually. Those, I was going to say lycra. That's not the word. Those, can't remember that word either today. Those sort of elasticated ones that have got writing on sometimes. It says, because I said I would. I've got one. I think I might have given it to my daughter, actually. Because I said I would. In other words, if you say you're going to do it, do it. So it could be ethics. It could be leadership. It could be integrity. Also, you could call it that because it's about doing what you said you were going to do. So it's being in integrity with yourself. There's also the question of when you said you were going to do it, did you know it was possible? Or did you hope it might be possible? There's an integrity question there as well. Point is, doesn't matter what you call it, it's the same thing. You had a plan, whether you voiced it only to yourself or to someone else, or you posted it on Facebook, or stood up at a meeting and announced it, or went on a broadcast and told the whole world, is neither here nor there. You said you were going to do something. Did you do it? Now, I'm not going to have a conversation here about why you didn't, because there are sometimes genuine, real, absolutely unavoidable, legitimate reasons why something didn't get finished. But that's rare. That's occasionally. That doesn't come up every single week. The dog didn't eat your homework every single week, right? That might have happened once. So don't keep using it as an excuse, right? When you're on a weight loss diet and you go to a birthday party and have cake, you can't, well, you could orchestrate your life so that you coincidentally happen to be at a birthday party every week, which gives you permission to eat cake every week. But what is the result of that? Your weight loss doesn't work, right? And then you go into a whole world of pain because you then failed, which makes your morale bad, which makes you feel as though you failed, which makes you unwilling to try again. No, not going there. And as a little aside, you do realize I'm talking from experience here, right? You do realize that when I talk to you about things that work and don't work, it's because I've done it myself, right? not because I'm speaking from an elevated position of, I know all this because I'm brilliant or wonderful, or I've trained millions of people. It's not like that. It's only dozens, well, hundreds maybe. No, probably dozens. And it's my own experience which tells you for sure that this is true and this is real. My experience also relates to other people who teach, books I've read. Okay. So this is real. This isn't a theory. So when you decide you want to do something, even if it's just to yourself, you make an agreement with yourself, right? If you break that agreement, or when you break that agreement, you let yourself down in exactly the same way that you would be letting somebody else down if you'd made an agreement with somebody else and let them down. In fact, you're probably more likely to forgive somebody who let you down than you are to forgive yourself. Even if it's only to the point of how much you will trust yourself going forward, because you probably are your own harshest critic. In other words, if you let yourself down, you probably judge yourself and punish yourself way more than you would if somebody else had let you down, right? So how do you help yourself make sure you get these things done correctly so that you can move your business forward? Now, I've talked before about the difference between your morale and your action, because there are a lot of people who teach mindset, which is basically morale, which is basically what's going on in here in relation to helping you grow your business, right? And I've always maintained that you can short circuit some of that with action. In other words, when you take action and you have a win, that'll make you feel better. The fact that you want to take action but don't take action will actually make you feel worse. And then you can spend decades on mindset. It doesn't lift you up. What lifts you up is a result. It's a faster way. I'm not saying mindset is not valid. It is. But don't get stuck on the fact that you can't afford a mindset coach, therefore you can't grow your business. Yes, I've heard that. Because you can. So what you do is you write down your plan. Simple. You write down your plan. So whether you do it on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis or a quarterly basis or a 6-month basis or a year basis, or all of those is irrelevant. All of those is good, because you should sit down and say, okay, by 12 months, I want to have achieved this, which means that by 6 months, I have to achieve that, etc., etc. So if you're going to say to yourself, in the next 12 months, in other words, by the 1st of November, 2023, is it the 1st of November already? By the 1st of November, 2023, I will have made $1 million, right? You've got to break that down. And I'll tell you how it breaks down. It breaks down to $114 a day, I think, or an hour. $114 an hour, more like $114 an hour, or pounds an hour, or whatever currency it is. Irrelevant, because $1 million is still $1 million. And there are still so many hours a day and days a week, etc., etc. So it's 114. So you now know I've got to do something right this minute to generate $114, whatever that might be. And then by the end of the year, I'll have made $1 million. Easy. So that's the same way that you organize your plans. I will have this many clients they will be paying me this much money. So in order to get to that point by the end of the year, break it down into 6 months, break those 6 months into two quarters, 3 months, 90 days. That 90 days is 90 days. It's also, I think, 13 and a half weeks, something like that. Actually, I think it's 91 days and it's 13 and a half weeks, something like that. Break it down, if necessary, by the hour. My coach breaks her day down by the hour and she writes a list of what she's going to do in that day, broken down by hour. And then she has another column that says, did I do this? Right? That hurts. That's a tough one. Did I do this? And then there's another column. I wonder if any of you can guess what it says in that other column. Why not? Why not? In other words, send an email to my emailing list. Did I do it? No. Why not? Because the dog ate my computer. The dog ate my notes. Okay. What about the next day? Or the next hour of the day? Did you do it then? Why not? Why not? You get to a point where answering that question is just so painful, it's easier to get it done. Really. Now, I found that I had been asking myself that question, literally driving myself mad, trying to come up with decent excuses when I had told myself I was going to do something and I wasn't doing it. Yeah, nutty, isn't it? Actually driving myself potty, spending a lot of brain time on trying to find a better way of doing things or an easier way of doing things. Turns out that was a bit of an excuse, a bit of an avoidance tactic. And I actually got to the point one day where it was easier for me to do that thing than try to explain on a piece of paper why I hadn't done it. Shocking. I know, absolutely ridiculous. But that's the level I had to get to before I actually figured out that there isn't actually anything stopping me. If I've decided I'm going to edit a transcription of one of these videos, for example, or send a greeting card to somebody, or make a sales call, or make 50 sales calls, or whatever it is, it's actually easier to just do it than to come up with a good excuse, because you then have to do the same thing for the next day, or week, or hour. And that's way too much wasted time. Now, yesterday, I happened to be floating around internet land and I came across a photograph, which was a book that's no longer published, that was, I believe, created by Zig Ziglar. And the page that I saw was for a week. And for the week, you write down your 4 goals and then the things that you're going to do during that week to move those 4 goals forward, right? It could be exercise you plan to do to get fit, or it could be a certain number of people you want to talk to grow your business, whatever it is, or, you know, another chapter written in your book. It doesn't matter. Your 4 goals. And then there were lines that said, what are you going to do? And then at the bottom, there was a really, really simple question. And the way that it was put in this book, you had a yes or a no, and you circled the yes or the no. And the question was that enough? In other words, you're training for a marathon and you went for a 5-mile walk with your dog. Was that enough to get you fit for a marathon? I'd say good chance that particular example, no. Or learning a foreign language. You practice 10 words today. Is that enough? Probably not. I don't know. I'm not the judge. You're the judge. You are the judge and jury of your own life. But instead of judging yourself for not doing stuff and beating yourself up, which a lot of you are, I know. I've done it myself. I've seen other people do it themselves. I've seen myself how other people do it. Clients I've worked with, business partners I've worked with, team members I've worked with, people who were receiving coaching from the same coach in my mentor group. I've seen it happen. If you have the stamina, you can coach yourself. All you have to do is guide yourself to making sure you do the things you said you were going to do, which is exactly what a coach would do. Ask the question, so did you get that done? Yes, I did. Was it enough? Did you get that done? No, I didn't. Why not? If you keep asking yourself those tough questions, you will move your life forward. For sure. Guaranteed. Really, I guarantee that that'll happen. You will move your life forward, which means either that you'll be feeling better about life or yourself, you'll be more successful in your business, you'll be slimmer, fitter, more fluent in more languages, whatever it is that you want to be, you will be that. And you will feel really good about it because your leadership or your ethics or your integrity or whatever you want to call it are in. Because you are not making crazy promises to people about things you'd love to be able to do, which you then actually end up not being able to do. You won't have crazy plans that need masses of effort that you're not able to do, or you forget because you've written it down. And you too, I'm quite sure, will find there is a point at which it's actually easier to get the thing done than come up with a reason for why you didn't. Just do it. What a cliche that is. Just do it. Okay? So, if you want to know the details of the pages I've talked to you about today, let me know. It doesn't take much imagination to find a place at the bottom of a to-do list that says, was that enough? It doesn't take much imagination to think of asking yourself, did you do it? Yes, no. If not, why not? Right? Now, you could also add a box that says, if you did do it, how did that feel? Because when you did do it, you actually feel good. And it's nice to acknowledge that. It's nice to write it down. And it's also nice to have it there written down on a day that you don't quite feel like it. There are lots of ways that you can re-inspire and motivate yourself to move forward with things when you're stuck. That is what coaching is. And yes, you can be a DIY coach. You really can. So, any questions, reach out to me. Before I disappear, I'm going to tell you who I am and how to find me. That was a bit silly of me to just charge on in without that. I am Andrea Kuchin, and I have been working for about 10 years with the most amazing business partner in a business called PhD in Follow-Up. We've been teaching people how to follow up. And over the years, that has expanded into all sorts of wonderful things. Okay, so if you have any questions, want clarification, want to bounce some ideas around with me, Andrea at PhD in Follow-Up is how you can reach me. Or You can call me or text me on 858-252-1190. Call or text 858-252-1190. You want a little bit more background information on me, go to phdandfollowup.com/Andrea Kuchin, and you'll get a little bit more information about what we do, etc., etc. If you are not listening to this or watching this in our Facebook group, join our Facebook group. It's called PhD and Follow Up. More loyal customers and referrals for busy business owners, because that's what you get if you follow up really well and efficiently. Again, that would be a good thing to ask those questions about. Was that enough to get you to $114 an hour? Right? If you didn't do it, why didn't you do it? It does get easier to do it, honestly. If you want to book a time to talk to me, if you want to do some brainstorming or you want more clarity face to face, Calendly is here. Okay, so that was my home biz tips. See, brought to you by PhD and Follow Up, because we work mostly with home business owners and they need help. TIPS stands for tools, ideas, product, services, or all sorts of things. Can't remember. Things that will help you move your business forward. Things that will lead to your success. Tips and inspiration that provide success. Tools and inspiration that provide success. Strategies, products, systems, training, all those things. That's what we're here for. Now, go get a notebook or get a spreadsheet, write a to-do list, and at the end of the day, ask yourself if that was enough. Make yourself write down what you didn't get done and why you didn't get it done. If you did get it done, write that down too, because that'll make you feel good and it's good to refer to later. And then let me know how it goes, because I'm curious to see whether you experience the same thing that I've seen experienced by many other people before. Okay, my friends, that's it for today. Join me again next Tuesday here in the Facebook group or on LinkedIn or on YouTube. And we'll have another chat about something else that I hope will be really useful and beneficial for your business and for your life. Bye-bye, my friends. Cheerio.